going into reading, when you guys are assigned an assignment for the packet, as far as the reading packet, the grammar packet, the spelling worksheet, or any other PDF type of worksheet that we have, you guys are going to open that up with Kami. Okay? Kami is an online PDF editor where you are going to be able to write, and it will save your work. You will be able to type, and it'll save your work, and then you are able to submit it from Kami into the Google Classroom. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into our classroom, and when there is an assignment under classwork, it will be in bold. So I'm gonna actually pull up the assignment that we have for some reason. Not going directly here. I'm going to pull up the assignment that we are going to have coming up. Okay, so tomorrow, the Unit 1, Week 1 reading packet will drop. We'll assign on Google Classroom. When you go into it, it is going to open it up like this, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a blue rectangle that says Open with Kami. Okay, you are going to click on Open with Kami, and it will go through, and it'll, for some reason, tell you how many teachers are actively using Kami, which doesn't necessarily mean anything to you guys, but it will come up with this sort of menu. So you can see you still have your address bar and everything, so you're still on the internet, but on the side, you're going to see that there are different things that different tools that you can use as far as marking and working on this. So as you scroll, you'll see, first of all, I'll kind of explain the packets a little bit. Did you guys have pages like this last year?
No.
Okay, so these pages are on a separate website away from Wonders. They are awesome because they tell you a summary of what we're going to be talking about for the week. So the first thing we have, it tells you the stories we're going to be reading on the side. Unit 1, Week 1, we're going to read One Hen. It tells you the genre, realistic fiction. It tells you the secondary story, which is Banks. It tells you the genre of that story, expository text. I believe it tells you the story in the anthology, which is a fresh start, and then it tells you that genre as well. It tells you our strategies, our skills, our writing traits, what we're going to be working on with grammar, and everything else. Off to the side, you have your spelling list. So instead of writing the list down in your agenda, you don't have to because you can study this packet. Now, if you want to write it down in your agenda, I highly suggest it. It's good practice, just getting used to spelling words correctly. Okay? At the bottom, it gives you the vocabulary. And so it'll tell you the vocabulary, it'll tell you the definition. It's a little bit different than the vocabulary lesson that we'll be doing later today, but this will help you if you don't get it completed all the way. Yes, ma'am?
Do we have challenge words?
We do not have challenge words. You are working with the 20 words that we give you, or that the list gives you, and that's it. So those 26 points that we talked about in spelling are going to be the 26 points that you have for the assignment. Your spelling test every week is 20 points, 46 possible points every week for spelling, and that's it. Okay? All right. Getting back to Kami. As you go into your pages, you are going to be able to either type or write on your page. Now, you guys don't have the stylus pens and the touch screens like we do, so guess what? Are you going to be able to write?
No.
No. Unless you can use the mouse pad, but that's kind of hard to do. So you're going to want to type. So as you look on the side, it shows text box. Text box gives you the option of making different sizes as far as the font, getting really, really small. Please don't do that. I'm old. My glasses are only so strong, and I don't want to have to squint when I'm checking your papers. Keep it at about a 14, 16, 18, somewhere around there, because otherwise if you do it too big, then all of a sudden you're typing one big word and your sentences stack down the whole page. Let's not do that, okay? Now you can see I clicked on the document and it already pulled up a place for me to type. I'm going to take this and you can see where it turns into kind of like a little directional cross arrow or cross line. If you click on that and move it, you are able to actually drag it to different places on the page. Once you have it set into place, that is where you want to start typing. So, in that situation, you're going to begin typing your text. So it says, use each pair of vocabulary words in a single sentence. I'm just going to make up a sentence. I was unable to afford the car, so I took out a loan from the bank. Okay? Now, what are you noticing in my text?
There's a red line under the word afford.
There's a red line under the word afford. What does that tell you I did?
You spelled it wrong.
I misspelled it, okay? So if you go over to that and double click on it, you should be able to double click to highlight it, and in this case it turns it purple. Now, can you guys see what's the first thing that comes up there?
Afford.
Really, what is that?
Okay.
It's the correct spelling of afford. I'm going to go there, I'm going to click it, and now my sentence in that situation is finished. As I go down to the next line, there's a couple of things I can do. The first one I don't recommend, but if you are typing on multiple lines and you want to, after you are at the end of your sentence, hit enter to go down to several lines down, you can, okay?
But then it makes
Then I can type my next sentence, okay? However, this is all in one text box, and if I want to move one sentence, what am I doing?
moving up one text.
I'm moving everything. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it where I'm at, and in order to put a new text box, I'm now going to go to the next line, and I'm going to click there to exit out of the previous text box. I'm going to click again, and now I've got a brand new text box in the place where I'm at. Okay? So then I can type my next sentence. I hate typing under pressure. People are watching me. I mess up all the time. That's all right. I got it right. You're going to continue to do the whole page like that. If you go to a place where you are typing paragraphs, or you have something where the lines don't actually meet up, I'm okay with that. Okay? Like on this one here, you can see these lines are kind of, well, the paper, the copy's kind of slanted, but you can see that these lines are spaced apart kind of far. If I were to type a sentence that carries over and then goes down to the next line, the alignment is going to be off. I'm okay with that, okay? Just because this document was not necessarily made to type multiple sentences or even to really type on. This is kind of a copy that you should be writing on, but I would much rather have you be able to access it all the time from home, from vacation, from a long weekend at a sporting event or whatever you've got going. Having this online, you can do your homework anywhere that you have internet access. Okay? So, the other things that you can do, and I'm going to exit out of this just to go back up here and trash this so I can get rid of them so it doesn't make it permanent. And I'm going to show you what else we're going to do with Cam. As we go through the spelling assignments,
correct your word.
The spelling assignments are the same way. Which means, should you ever, first of all, let me back up. What do you see at the top of the page right here?
The word.
The word list, right? Okay? Should you ever, on any spelling worksheet like this, misspell a word?
No.
No.
That's impossible.
So now, let's carry it one step further, and I think John kind of pointed it out. Let's just look at number 7, raise one's shoulders. Well, if I go through here, I see raise one's shoulder is shrug. So again, I'm going to open it up with Cami. It's going to think. It's going to open it up. It's going to give you the toolbars on the side. Sometimes the toolbar is skinny. You have to know what the icons mean. Or sometimes it actually gives you the option to blow that up a little bit, and it'll actually tell you what they are. If you leave it like this and you get familiar with it, you should be fine. If I do text, and I do the text box here, and I type that word there. Okay, first of all, to raise one's shoulders. It's not to shrug, right? It's to shrug. Now, I shouldn't have misspelled it here anyway because it's in the list. But it's actually telling me I misspelled something, isn't it? So guess what? Not only do I have the word listed there, but I can go here. I can double click on it to highlight it. I can correct my own spelling errors, and it should be a 100% paper every time. Okay? Other things that you can do. If I go here to the select button and I click the arrow here, and then I click on a word, what's it not working? There we go. Not sure what's going on. And I click on dictionary, it is not working correctly. Maybe they got rid of it for us, because I know before they used to be able to click on it. Did they get rid of it? Yeah, you used to be able to. Let me see if oh, guess what? The district must have gotten rid of it.
What was it?
Anyway.
Maybe you have to type it or something?
With the dictionary here, what they used to have us, or we used to be able to do, is you could highlight a word, and you could look up the word in the dictionary, which is really good for vocabulary and stuff like that, but obviously it's not allowing us to do that. So now, if I want to do something else, now, I don't want you doing this at school because we don't need all of us talking at the same time, but we have text to speech, okay? So now, as I am going through, I can read the page. And again, for some reason, it's not working. I don't know if it's my computer or what it's doing, but it should be reading it.
Here, I'll be a substitute.
But it's not.
Stuff.
No, it's not working. So again, technology is you're at the mercy of how well the technology works.
It might not just work for you.
It might not, yeah, it might just not, it might be my computer. I know I needed to update some stuff on my computer, so. The last thing that I want to show you is how we are going to do the spelling test. Spelling tests for you are extremely easy because
Are they online?
they are online.
Wait, that's cheating.
So
No, it's cheat.
it's not cheating. If you study or you look over the words, you shouldn't have to cheat. But I'm just going to show you.
We already know.
We already know. It's the red
And if
line.
it's wrong, you're gonna know if it's wrong.
This is the red line.
And this is our thinking. Okay? We're going to use Cami the same way as we would for everything else. You guys are going to, like, for example, this is going to be
Oh wait, you can't cheat.
your excuse me, this is going to be your spelling worksheet. Or I'm sorry, your spelling test on Fridays. So, this is how you must do it. And I'm saying must because if you do not do it this way, you will have it reassigned to you. Hold on, save your questions. As I go through, another thing that you can do is not only can you add text, but you can add shapes as well. So you're gonna go through, and when it is time for you to take your test on Fridays, you are going to go here, you're going to pick a color. Guys, do not pick orange or red. I'm telling you right now, pick a color that I can see other than orange or red. So, let's say you pick purple, okay?
You can't see that.
As you go through, the spelling tests are going to be recognition tests, meaning you're going to recognize the correct spelling of that word. So, looking at number 1, I see territory, 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 territory. You are going to go through and you are going to obviously pick the correct spelling of territory, which is, in this case, letter C. Now, watch all you need to do. You're going to pick circle. You're going to pick your color. You're going to go to the letter that it is attached to the correct spelling. And all you need to do is click. Now, this is way too big of a circle. Okay? So, I'm going to erase that. I'm going to go back to the circle. I'm going to go up here to where it says stroke thickness. Everybody see where I'm at? I'm going to click that. Now, do you think I want 1/10?
Yes.
Am I going to be able to see that very well? Let's see how faint that actually is.
It's probably not.
Okay?
It might not even get past the sun.
Oh, I
you
can see
can
that.
see that.
Now,
You can see that.
keep in mind, I can see it, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm grading 21 spelling tests. I try to get these done as quickly as I can without messing them up. If I have to look and see where your circle is, that's going to slow me down. We're not going to put it a big clunky circle, but at the same time, we're not going to put it a little skinny mini circle either.
Skinny mini.
Okay? What you want to do, it's so skinny I can't even erase it. Okay? We're just going to pretend it's not there. What you're going to do is, again, use a little bit of your judgment. And as I look here, what number do you think is going to show up well without being over the top? Maybe 2 or even 4. So I'm going to click on 2. And as I go, I'm going to put my cursor over C. I'm going to click. That's a good circle right there. Okay? Now I'll check 4 just to see how thick 4 is.
Yeah, precise. Pretty.
No, I feel
Okay? So number 2, the word is atlas. I'm looking at letter B. 4 is okay. I would maybe stick with 2 or 4. Don't go any bigger than 4. Okay? So now,
There is not three.
It's only M.
as I go through and check them, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to make an error on letter C. So when I go through and check, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. My favorite color is orange. Okay? It's kind of ironic that I'm wearing an orange shirt today, but my favorite colors, I guess, are orange and red, but I like to check in orange. So please don't use orange, and please don't use red, because red is close to orange. As I go through, I check, that one's correct, that one's correct. I do not check what you marked wrong. I will go through, and I will check what the correct answer was.
Oh, that's why not.
Okay? So now, very, very easy, because when I check these with Cami, I have the opportunity to go through and I grade them on the side, I put your score in, and I'm able to pass them back. I'm using the air quotes. I'm able to pass them back to every single one of you all at the same time in Google Classroom. Google Classroom should keep track of all your grades, and you can track everything that you have, whether it's due, whether it's late, or whether you've turned it in, or whether you have not turned it in. Okay, question?
Can we do a square, or does it have to be a circle to be?
You can do a square or a circle. I mean, again,
No.
as long as I can see what your answer is clearly. If you're putting something over here, I mean, I can guess that's maybe yours, your
But
answer,
they can't.
but try to get it as close to the letter as possible. So now, the last thing that I want to explain real quickly with this,
Don't forget about that.
I forgot about that. That's
Oh, he actually got it.
You got it.
is with your spelling worksheets, okay? And actually, it's any worksheet, but it seems to me like it's usually the spelling worksheet that it happens to. I am going to do a couple of different symbols that will explain what you did incorrectly, okay? If, when I'm checking it, and you just completely miss the word, like you get the wrong answer, I will go through and I will mark it with a circle. A circle means you got the incorrect answer. Okay? Easy enough. If you have a word, and guys, for the spelling worksheets, a lot of times there are some words that can fit in multiple places. If you have an incorrect word that could fit, okay, does that make sense? It's not the actual answer from the answer key, but it kind of makes sense. I'm going to mark it like this, with a square. What that square means is, it's not the exact answer that was asked for, but it works. I am not counting that incorrect. Circles are counted incorrect. Squares are not counted incorrect. Okay? Easy enough so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last the last symbol that I will use is the triangle. The triangle is if you are doing your work and you're flying through it, you get done really, really quickly, and you turn it in and you forgot to answer one of the questions. I am going to go through and I will mark a triangle on the empty line where you did not put an answer. This shows you that that one was not done, and it is counted as incorrect. Okay?
Oh, it does count.
So it does count. Circles and triangles count against you. Squares do not count against you. In that situation, just like every other question that you miss, if you go through and you fix your error, or if it's the case of a triangle, you put the correct answer in, I will go back through and I will give you that half credit back. Okay? So now, a lot of information about Cami. Are there questions, Gabby?
Okay, so for the one where you said a square means it can fit there, but it's not necessarily the answer that was put into the answer key. Remember? So I feel like there's gonna be another question that is gonna go better with that answer.
Yes, you're exactly right. Sometimes, if this answer kind of fits with this word, again, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm not gonna count it wrong because you're kind of right. But what that also means is probably somewhere later on the page, oh, I don't have which one. Somewhere later on the page, you are either going to have another square, or you are going to have a circle, meaning that that word is wrong. Okay? So just know that every single spelling worksheet that we have, there's 20 questions, 20 words. It means every word is going to go into one slot one time. Okay? You will never double up on a word on the spelling worksheets. However, several times throughout the year, we've noticed that a word will fit and makes sense, we're not gonna count that wrong, because realistically, it makes sense, especially when we're talking about the sentences. Okay? But just know that if you don't have it exactly like the book has it, one might be counted okay, one might be counted wrong. Okay?
One wrong equals
So you'll just have,
So, well, a lot of times one wrong means two wrongs, because if you completely switch, they don't make sense. But if one makes sense here, and the other one absolutely does not make sense there, you're only gonna miss the one. Okay? Questions about Cami? Yes.
so if you got that one wrong and the other one kind of makes sense, and you go back and you swap them, would they pretty much?
You'll get the half, cause the one wasn't counted incorrect. So that one, you already got it right. But if you swap them, and this one is now right, I will give you that half credit
And
back.
the other one's now right.
The other one's still right, so it's,
Oh, it's
yeah,
right.
so it's just, you would get 0.5 points back, half a point back. Yes,
It's not really a question, but if you don't like remember any of like the logos, if you press that arrow down there,
yes, right down here is where it expands the menu, so it actually tells you what each of these things are. I am going to check and see why the dictionary is not working, because like I said, they may have, because last year was one of the first years we were actually using Cami, and so they may have gone through and disallowed that for the district. And the rest of them are all pretty self-explanatory. We're not gonna be using the equation very often, because math will be on the worksheets and stuff. Drawing is actually better if you have the notepad or a,
Touch screen.
able to write on the touchscreen, because then it will allow you to actually draw and write on there. We talked about the shapes. The eraser, again, if you noticed earlier, the eraser was one where I had to, you have to go over the line with it. So as I'm using the eraser, you have to make sure that you are going across the shapes or across the word, and it will erase the whole line or the whole word that you go over. Yes?
So, you know how, like, it's open right now and you can see what all of the things mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you were to go back to the, like, tool section where you can't see what they mean,
Like, whoop, I keep forgetting, yeah, like that?
yeah, and then you go, you don't click on it, but if you, like, touch the text box place,
Right here?
it's gonna show you, like,
Yes, it does, yeah, it will, yeah, it'll explain, if you hover over the icon, it will explain exactly what it is as well. And it doesn't keep, and you can see, it didn't keep it out there,
Yeah.
but it does pop up there to show you what it is. Question? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, yes.
Are we still doing vocabulary?
We're going to talk about vocab here in just a second, and we will adjust the schedule for the rest of the week. Again, since this is our first week with going through all of this, I wanna make sure that everybody completely understands Cami, because, it is awesome. It makes my job a lot easier, because I can grade papers. Like literally last year, one day when I took a long weekend to go out to visit my son in Colorado, I graded papers while my wife drove on the interstate, because I had access on my phone.
So cool.
It is awesome, because if you guys go on vacation, or if you have weekends where you have, tournaments and stuff like that with whatever sport you're playing, you can access Google Classroom if you have internet, which means you can access the documents that we have, which means you can access Cami, which means that your homework is coming with you, and all you need is a tablet, an iPad, a laptop, a Chromebook, geez, even if you have a smartphone or mom and dad has a smartphone,
Internet.
you can access your homework and you can work on it whenever. Okay, yes.
I went on vacation. I was in quarantine because we just wanted to go because we were in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna go back that day, like the day that we left. So I just brought my Chromebook.
Chromebook
on
with
there.
you? Yep.
It wouldn't work on the airplane, but it would work at the hotel.
At the hotel,
The
yeah.
Airbnb.
Yeah. Yes.
On the spelling test, do you have to write the word that you chose on the side?
Nope, that's a great question. I did not touch on that. On your spelling test, okay, off to the side here, you are not, you do not have to type anything. So again, by the time you get used to it after the first week, spelling tests usually take my students about, geez, if it takes you 2 minutes, you're probably going slow. Because you can go through and you can pick these answers relatively quickly. Okay? Yes.
And also for the like spelling test, this isn't really a question, but like last year I would like think that this would be the right answer, but then you don't have something to look at, so you're like, oh wait, this is not right, this is right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we talked as a fifth grade team and realized that a lot of times recognition, let's be honest, we are going to be typing things and we're going to be reading things, unfortunately, because of society, more often now than actually handwriting it, okay? And so to be able to recognize a word, and again, if I type it incorrectly, what does the computer do?
It's going to
Recognizes that it's
It recognizes most of the words that I'm typing, and it can tell me if I've got something misspelled. So in this situation, I'm gonna go through, and again, I guarantee you, almost all of you are looking at this going, well, geez, this is gonna be a piece of cake. You'd be amazed how many times I had errors last year
close.
because students were
Go.
flying through it and hitting an incorrect answer
There you go.
and missing it. So just because this is really easy, don't think you're gonna ace every single one of them unless you pay attention. Yes?
There is a way you can cheat. If you go into text box,
you can
and you write down it, and if it says it's wrong, then you can look what the answer is.
Oh, absolutely. There, I'll be the first to, yeah, there's ways to cheat with this, but are you getting better if you do?
No.
So don't.
And he
Okay.
trusts us.
So what I need you to do now, I need you to open